to Tolo Speaks as part of Tolo, the Tolo Express. All aboard. Today, I want to elaborate on one of the major attributes or living conditions, we'll call it, that the mystic finds him or herself in. Because this series is on the mystical heart, the mystical nature. It's not about the mystical way. Spirituality deals with a way, the way, sifting through all the ways that we have been exposed to coming up with our way. Mysticism says none of that is important. What's important in life is experiencing life. There is this age-old saying, scriptural saying, to thine own self be true. Now the mystic takes this seriously, but understands two things, which self we're really talking about in this quote, and truth. What the nature of truth might be all about. The mystic realizes that one's basic human nature, with a formula of early programming, and then life's script being a reenactment of that program. For example, a spider crawls on us when we're 3, and someone walks into the room and screams and runs over and grabs the spider with a tissue and crushes it, and then screams, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" and looks for welts. This creates a traumatic climate concerning future interaction by that individual with a spider of any sort. Because the program is instilled, and it goes like this. Spiders are dangerous. They are scary creatures to be feared and to be avoided. And the ignorant, and I'm not saying that in a condescending way, I'm saying it because there are times when brilliance strikes and we deny it. You can call that brilliance insight, awareness, discernment, intuition, and we just simply move into another realm called laziness, and we simply avoid the registering of this truth. That's how truth impacts us in an aha moment of grand awareness that is unmistakable and in that moment undeniable. So we have a human nature, a human personality, human traits and characteristics. But that's not what the quote is asking us to be true to. Completely. In part, yes. If we have carved out a liking or something? Of course. If we find we have a natural propensity for rowing a kayak or a boat or a canoe, then of course, enjoy the sport. If we realize that empathy flows naturally from us, and the choice then is to enter the healing arts, why not? That is part of human nature. And where those natural inclinations come from is still open to debate. Science would say, well, there's DNA. And so you have a condition already set up in you. Primarily, this can relate to realms of physical conditions, such as heart disease runs in the family. There are hundreds of ways in which we pick and choose early on what appeals to us. And yes, this is part of our nature, our human nature. And that is a wonderful gift for us to cultivate and develop for ourselves. But there is another aspect to our nature that soars, that flies, that dances, that allows itself to move in magical directions. And we can call that our true nature. Some would call it our spirit. Some would call it our higher consciousness. Some would call it the part of us that's in the flow. Some would call it our Christ consciousness. Some would call it our Buddha mind. It doesn't matter. The object of life is to call it in as a recognized commodity, and then form an allegiance to this energy of life that flows through us, that causes us to soar and rise above the human dilemma, so that we move past being afraid of spiders. Why? Because to think in terms of all spiders being bad and harmful and scary is a gross generalization. And we love these kinds of undertakings, to dwell and bask in this illusionary world of gross generalization. And this is just one example of our ignorance and our laziness to return to alignment. Aligning ourselves with love itself. This is at the heart of every mystical tradition. But the mystic even gives up tradition, gives up a way, gives up an allegiance, gives up an alliance. For what? Staying in that place called pure, ultimate truth. The truth of their own nature, owning their preferences until they change. The truth of their own likes and dislikes, their own natural propensities, the truth of the realization of talents and gifts, and then the embrace of the spirit that flies out into the realm of pure potentiality. And when we are true to this aspect of our nature, all possibility, everything changes in our world. And we move lovingly and easily and effortlessly towards living from the mystical heart. Have a great day. Namaste. Goodbye for now.